My friend, let me ask you something that might sound simple, but it touches the very heart of living well after 60. Have you ever noticed how some nights, no matter how tired you are, you toss and turn, struggling to fall asleep? And then, even when you finally drift off, the sleep doesn't feel deep. You wake up groggy, without energy, and perhaps even a little down. At the same time, you might also feel that spark of vitality, that strength and vigor you once took for granted, has dimmed over the years. If you're nodding your head, you're not alone. Thousands of men your age quietly carry these concerns every day. But here's the surprising truth. One simple vegetable, eaten at the right time of day, can be a powerful ally for potency, vigor, and deep restorative sleep. That's exactly what we'll uncover today in this video, called The One Vegetable at Night for Potency, Vigor, and Deep Sleep After 60. Elderly advice. I want to share the story of one of my longtime patients, Robert. Robert came to see me at age 64, shoulders slouched, his energy low, and his voice tinged with frustration. He told me, "Doc, I feel like I've aged 20 years in the last 5. I don't sleep well, I wake up more tired than when I went to bed, and intimacy with my wife feels like a chore instead of a joy. What's happening to me?" Now, Robert wasn't sick in the traditional sense. His blood work was fine, his heart was in decent shape, and yet something vital was missing. What he wanted wasn't just to live, he wanted to live well. And that, my friends, is where this story begins. For those of you meeting me for the first time, I'm Dr. Nolan Easton. I've been working in men's health for over 3 decades, and in that time, I've seen the same struggles appear again and again in men over 60. I've dedicated my career to helping men rediscover their vigor, strengthen their bodies, and restore their confidence, not just in the bedroom, but in every corner of life. And one thing I've learned is that sometimes the simplest answers are the most powerful. You see, Robert's story isn't unique. Many men don't realize that their diet, something as straightforward as what they put on their plate at dinner, can have an enormous impact on their strength, their intimacy, and their sleep. We've been taught to believe that the solutions always come in the form of a pill or a complicated program, but that's not always true. Sometimes nature has been whispering the answers all along. We just need to know where to listen. That night in my office, after listening to Robert, I asked him a simple question. "Tell me about your evening meals. What do you usually eat before bed?" He shrugged. "Oh, the usual, doc. Meat, maybe some potatoes, sometimes rice or bread. I don't really think about vegetables much at night. That's more for lunch." That's when I smiled and said, "Robert, tonight, you're going to do something different. You're going to eat one very particular vegetable, and you're going to notice how your body feels when you wake up tomorrow morning." Now, before I tell you which vegetable it is, I want to explain why this matters so much. After 60, our bodies change in ways we can't always see. Testosterone naturally dips, circulation slows, and stress hormones like cortisol can rise if we don't sleep deeply. All of these changes can leave us feeling weak, less interested in intimacy, and restless at night. But here's the hopeful part. Food is one of the most direct ways we can influence these processes. Certain foods can relax blood vessels, calm the nervous system, and support hormone balance, giving us that sense of vigor and strength we thought we'd lost. So, Robert agreed to follow my advice. He was skeptical. After all, how could one vegetable make a difference? But he trusted me enough to give it a try. And that small step turned out to be the beginning of a remarkable change. Now, before I go deeper into Robert's transformation and reveal the vegetable, let me pause here to say something important to you watching. If you're over 60 and you've felt that your spark has dimmed, that your energy just isn't what it used to be, or that you long for deeper, more restful sleep, then this message is for you. The best years of your life don't have to be behind you. You still have so much strength, so much joy, and so much vitality waiting to be uncovered. And if this resonates with you, I'd love to know.
type a simple yes or no in the comments below. I read those comments personally because they guide me in making these videos so I can bring you advice that truly helps. Oh, and also, if you find this kind of wisdom valuable, please go ahead and like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap the little bell icon. That way you'll always know when new advice comes out that can help you live stronger and feel younger. Back to Robert. What I asked him to eat was something that most of us have in our kitchens, but we often overlook its timing and power. When eaten in the evening, it can set the stage for a night of deeper sleep, stronger blood flow, and a calmer mind. And as Robert discovered, sometimes the smallest changes bring the greatest results. The very next week when he came back, I could already see the difference in his face. His eyes looked clearer, his energy was brighter, and he laughed more easily. "Doc, I don't know if it's a coincidence, but I slept through the night 3 times this week. And my wife, well, let's just say she's smiling more these days too." That was just the beginning. Over the weeks that followed, Robert found himself waking up refreshed instead of sluggish. His intimacy returned not as a struggle, but as a natural expression of connection. And perhaps most importantly, he rediscovered confidence in himself. You see, when you start sleeping well, your body restores itself. When blood flows properly, vigor and strength return. And when your energy rises, life itself feels more joyful. And that's why this one vegetable, when eaten at night, can be such a powerful tool for men over 60. Because it doesn't just affect one part of your health, it creates a ripple effect. Better sleep leads to better hormone balance, better circulation leads to more potency, and the sense of vitality that comes from both gives you back the vigor that makes life worth living. Robert's journey is proof that you don't need to overhaul your entire life to feel better. Sometimes, all it takes is one small, consistent change. And I want to show you exactly how you can bring this into your own life starting tonight.
Robert leaned forward in his chair, curious but also doubtful, as many men his age would be. I could see the look in his eyes that said, "Come on, Doc, vegetables aren't going to solve my problems." And I smiled, because I've had that same look directed at me hundreds of times in my practice. That's when I finally told him, "Robert, tonight I want you to roast, steam, or lightly sauté a serving of spinach with your evening meal. Nothing fancy, just a good portion of spinach prepared however you like, but make sure you eat it close to bedtime." Now, why spinach? Well, my friend, let me explain. Spinach is more than just a leafy green that you push around on your plate. It's one of nature's richest sources of magnesium, a mineral most men over 60 are quietly deficient in. And here's why that matters. Magnesium relaxes the nervous system, eases tension in the muscles, and helps regulate the release of melatonin, the very hormone that tells your body it's time to sleep. Without enough magnesium, your nights can be restless, shallow, and broken. But with it, sleep becomes deeper, more restorative, and more refreshing. Robert, like many men, had been waking up 3 or 4 times a night, his body restless and his mind unsettled. Within a week of adding spinach to his dinner, he noticed those middle-of-the-night wake-ups fading away. He told me, "Doc, it's like my brain finally got the memo to shut down." That's the power of a simple vegetable working with your body's natural rhythm. But magnesium isn't the only secret hiding in spinach. This humble green is also rich in nitrates, compounds that, once inside your body, convert into nitric oxide. Nitric oxide is a natural vasodilator. It helps open up your blood vessels, allowing blood to flow more freely. And I don't think I have to spell out what that means for potency and vigor. Stronger circulation equals stronger performance, not only in the gym or on a walk around the neighborhood, but also in the bedroom, where confidence often begins and ends with healthy blood flow. Robert was amazed. He said, "You mean to tell me that something as simple as spinach can do what all those expensive supplements promise?" I nodded, because sometimes the body doesn't need something new. It needs something old, something it already recognizes. Nature has been providing these solutions for centuries,
But somewhere along the way, we stopped listening. Now, I want to pause here for a moment to talk to you directly. If you're sitting there thinking, I don't even like spinach, let me reassure you, it doesn't have to be complicated or tasteless. Some of my patients mix it into a simple omelet, others add it to soups or stews, and many just enjoy it sautéed with garlic and olive oil. The key isn't the recipe, it's the habit of including it in your dinner a few nights a week. Do that, and you'll start to feel the difference in your sleep, your energy, and yes, your potency. And let's be clear, this isn't about pretending spinach is some miracle cure. It's about giving your body the minerals, the compounds, and the nourishment it desperately needs, but too often doesn't get. After 60, our bodies aren't as forgiving as they once were. When we skimp on nutrients, we feel it. But when we provide what's missing, the rewards show up quickly, sometimes in just days, like Robert experienced. I often tell my patients that spinach is like nature's reset button for men. Think about it. When your sleep improves, your hormones balance. When your hormones balance, your energy rises. When your energy rises, your relationships flourish. One change triggers another until suddenly you feel younger, stronger, and more connected to life. That's why I always say, don't underestimate the power of small changes made consistently. And Robert's transformation was proof of that. By week 3, his wife called me, something that doesn't happen often. She laughed and said, "Dr. Easton, I don't know what you told my husband to eat, but I feel like I've got the man I married back." Her joy was as real as Robert's newfound confidence. That's the ripple effect of health. It doesn't just change one person, it changes everyone around them. Now, I'd love to hear from you watching this right now. Do you believe that something as simple as spinach could make a difference in your life? Type yes if you do, and no if you're still skeptical. I promise you, I go through those comments personally because they help me understand what you're struggling with, and they help me bring you advice that speaks directly to your needs. And if this resonates with you, don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and tap that little bell. It's a small gesture, but it means the world because it helps me continue sharing this kind of guidance with you. The most beautiful part of Robert's journey was watching his confidence come back. He started sleeping soundly, waking up refreshed, and carrying himself with that unmistakable energy that says, "I'm alive, I'm strong, and I'm ready to live." And you deserve that too. Every man over 60 deserves to feel that spark again, and it can begin with something as ordinary yet extraordinary as adding a plate of spinach to your evening meal. As I reflect on Robert's story, I'm reminded of how many men carry silent burdens, low energy, restless nights, dwindling intimacy, without realizing that they're not doomed to accept these changes as part of aging. Robert once thought his best years were behind him, but through a single dietary change, he discovered that new vitality was waiting just around the corner. And if he could do it, so can you.
When Robert first started seeing these changes, he couldn't quite believe it. He would come into my office almost sheepishly, as if he didn't want to jinx his progress. "Doc," he said one afternoon, "I don't know if I should even say this out loud, but I feel younger." His sleep was deeper, his mornings were brighter, and his energy was steady through the day. But the part that really touched me was when he said, "My wife tells me she hasn't seen me smile like this in years." That, my friend, is the kind of transformation that no prescription pill can buy. Now, some of you may be wondering, why does this work so well in men over 60? Let's take a closer look, but in plain terms. After 60, your body is like an old car engine. It still runs, but it needs the right fuel, and it doesn't handle wear and tear the way it used to. Stress hormones build up more easily, recovery takes longer, and sleep becomes lighter. That's where spinach steps in. The magnesium helps shut off that overactive engine at night, allowing you to slip into the deep stages of sleep where your body heals and restores itself. The nitrates improve circulation, not just in your legs or your heart, but everywhere blood needs to flow. And when circulation improves, potency and stamina naturally rise. But here's something even more fascinating. Studies have shown that when men over 60 improve their magnesium intake, their levels of testosterone, the very hormone that gives us vigor, drive, and energy, can stabilize. We're not talking about massive spikes or artificial boosts. We're talking about balance. And balance is what the body craves as it ages. That's why Robert not only slept better, but also felt more confident in his masculinity, in his strength, and in his daily life. Of course, change doesn't happen overnight. Robert had his doubts in the beginning, and maybe you do too. That's natural. I remember him saying, "Doc, do I really have to eat spinach every single night? Won't I get tired of it?" And I told him, "No, Robert, you don't need it every single night. Think of it like medicine from nature. 3 to 4 times a week is enough to make a noticeable difference. That's a sustainable habit, not a chore. And that's what I want for you too. Small, realistic changes that you can stick with for the long run." Now, let me tell you about another patient of mine, Samuel. He's 68, a retired teacher, and he came to me complaining of waking up 5 times a night to use the bathroom. He said it was ruining his sleep, and by morning he was exhausted. Samuel had also noticed his energy for intimacy had faded. He thought it was simply part of getting old. But after we adjusted his diet, including adding spinach to his evening meals, he experienced not just better sleep, but also fewer nighttime trips to the bathroom. Why? Because the improved circulation and relaxation of his muscles helped his body function more smoothly. Within a month, Samuel was sleeping through the night and, in his words, feeling 20 years younger. These stories aren't miracles. They're examples of what happens when you align your lifestyle with what your body truly needs. And that's the real lesson here. You don't need to overhaul your entire diet or buy expensive supplements. You just need to add back what's been missing. And for so many men over 60, what's missing is magnesium, nitrates, and the calming, balancing properties of vegetables like spinach. Now, let me ask you something. Would you be willing to add a simple serving of spinach to your dinner 3 nights a week if it meant better sleep, stronger energy, and more confidence in your daily life? If your answer is yes, I'd love to see you type yes down in the comments below. And if you're still unsure, type a no. Either way, I promise I'll read your responses because they guide me in making these videos more helpful to you. And if you haven't done it yet, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap that little bell icon so you never miss practical advice that could make all the difference in your health after 60. Robert, Samuel, and so many other men I've treated over the years have shown me the same truth. Vitality after 60 isn't gone, it's just waiting for the right conditions to reawaken. And while spinach may sound simple, it's not the vegetable itself that holds the magic. It's what it represents. It's a reminder that your body is still responsive, still capable of change, and still eager to reward you when you give it the right tools. I often tell my patients to think of spinach not as a side dish, but as a signal to your body. It's time to heal, it's time to restore, it's time to strengthen. When you sit down at dinner and make that conscious choice, you're sending your body a message of care and respect. And that message is powerful. It says, I haven't given up on myself. And that belief alone is one of the strongest medicines a man can have. As Robert continued his journey, something else happened. He began walking more in the mornings, not because I told him to, but because he felt like moving again. He started cooking more meals at home with his wife, experimenting with different ways to prepare spinach and other greens. And over time, he realized that this one small change had set off a chain reaction that transformed not only his health, but also his daily habits and his outlook on life. That's the beauty of starting small. It grows into something larger than you ever expected. And if you're listening to this right now,
I want you to know that this can be your story too. You don't have to accept restless nights, low energy, and fading vitality as your new normal. You don't have to watch your confidence slip away year after year. There are answers, and they are often simpler than we've been led to believe. Spinach at night is one of them, and it's a place you can start today, without waiting, without fear, and without complication. Robert's story didn't just end with better sleep or a few more smiles. Over the months, the small spark that spinach had reignited in him grew into something much greater. He started picking up hobbies again, woodworking, which he had given up years ago because he was too tired. He joined his wife on evening walks, not dragging his feet, but leading the way, full of energy. And in his words, "Doc, I don't feel like I'm watching life pass me by anymore. I feel like I'm living it again." That, my friend, is the true goal of advice like this. It's not about a single vegetable or even a single night's sleep. It's about reclaiming the sense of control over your health and your happiness. Because after 60, life isn't supposed to be about fading away. It's supposed to be about savoring the richness of the years you've earned. So, why does this matter so much for you? Because whether you're struggling with restless nights, feeling your energy slip away, or noticing that spark of intimacy dim, I want you to know it doesn't have to stay that way. The body has an amazing ability to heal and restore itself when given the right tools. And sometimes, the answer is as simple as listening to what nature has been trying to tell us all along. In this case, it's that a plate of spinach with your dinner can calm your nervous system, open your blood vessels, and balance your hormones in ways that medications often try, but without the side effects. Now, I understand some of you may still be skeptical. Maybe you're thinking, spinach can't really make that big of a difference. And I respect that. Skepticism is healthy. But let me remind you, Robert was skeptical too. So was Samuel. And so have been dozens of men who walked into my office, tired, discouraged, and ready to give up. Yet, with patience, consistency, and an open mind, they discovered something powerful, that their bodies were more resilient than they believed. And I want that same discovery for you. Imagine lying down at night and drifting into deep, uninterrupted sleep. Imagine waking up with energy and drive, not dragging yourself out of bed. Imagine sharing intimacy with your partner without hesitation, with confidence restored. That's not a fantasy. It's a very real possibility, even after 60. And it can begin with something as ordinary as choosing spinach over an extra serving of bread or rice at dinner. If you're hearing this and it resonates with you, I'd love for you to type a yes in the comments below. If you're still not sure, type a no. Both matter to me because I read them and I use them to understand where you are in your journey. And if you found this message meaningful, please take a moment to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tap that little bell icon. Every time you do, it allows me to keep bringing you guidance that might just change your life in ways you never expected. Let me also leave you with one final thought. Aging is not a decline, it's a transition. And in that transition, you get to decide whether you will let habits, doubts, and neglect steal your vitality, or whether you'll take simple, deliberate steps to protect and strengthen it. Robert chose to make one change, and that choice sparked a transformation. You have the same opportunity. So tonight, as you sit down for dinner, remember this message. Reach for that handful of spinach. Prepare it in a way you enjoy and remind yourself you are worth the care. Every small step you take is an act of self-respect, and every